Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. This is our Music Minute, where we take a look at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow. Tonight we are in the Sala Music Center, so a new look at things tonight. And we're going to go in order. I know I hardly ever do that, so what's wrong with me? Something must be. We're going to start with our gathering hymn, that's Gather Us In. And this is a good example of a hymn that was actually inspired by another hymn. So the hymn that inspired this was What Is This Place? And you might recognize that. That actually comes from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And that hymn talks about God's presence in very physical beings, in the walls, the roof, the floor, and the windows of the building. Marty Haugen, who wrote Gather Us In, wanted to experiment a little bit, and he wondered what that might look like in an American worship community. So this Gather Us In reminds us that no matter what sort or what the conditions of humanity are, that the community of faith fathers to sing around word, water, bread, and wine. So exactly what you might expect, and all of those are addressed in Gather Us In. That's what this is. Sort of fun. You get a phrase and then it just goes off on this gathering of all the notes and putting them in one place, and it really does suit the text well. Next we'll move to our hymn of the day. That is an old one that I think most of us will be familiar with. What Wondrous Love Is This? It's another one of those anonymous hymns. I feel like I'm always saying that. Where did this come from? We don't know. So not only is the text anonymous, we also don't know the origin of the tune. It first appeared in a Methodist hymnal, we do know that, and that exact same year, later in the year, it appeared in a different version in a Baptist hymnal. So it's multi-denominational, coming up in different places. It's a beautiful, haunting melody, so we'll have What Wondrous Love Is This? like jazz tones in there for you as well. Moving on to communion, the King of Love, my shepherd is, another one that I think most people are very familiar with. This is a setting of the 23rd Psalm, and its tune name is Saint Columba. And Saint Columba was an Irish saint who founded monasteries and via the island of Iona brought Christianity to Scotland. And this is a fine communion hymn, as stanza 5 leads us to the chalice being placed on the table that the shepherd puts before us, as you might remember from Psalm 23. The King of Love, my shepherd is. Very calming and shepherd-like pastoral. Our sending hymn tomorrow is Let All Things Now Living, set to the tune of the Ash Grove. This is a fun, almost dance-like hymn, and this variation of it will be very dance-like as well. It covers many things. It covers the call to give thanks to God, the Creator, the Protector, the Guider. It recounts God's protective care that he gives us on our daily pilgrimage every day. It's praise to all things in the created order, beyond God himself. And it calls us back to the joy of our thanksgiving of baptism as well. The original tune was actually written for harp. So that's the Ash Grove tune. And so this is Let All Things Now Living. hymn, only 2 stanzas, but it'll take us out quickly and lots of notes to get in. So it'll be lots of fun. Thanks again for joining us this evening. Hopefully you've learned something that maybe you didn't know before, and you'll look forward to singing those hymns with us tomorrow, either in person. Please note tomorrow's time change, so the first service will remain at 8:30, but the second service tomorrow reverts to 11 a.m. And that 11 a.m. service is what will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you next week.